What's up, College and Career Conquerors? My name is Mr. Perez, and I am the host for the College and Career Center podcast here at Del Valley High School. I'm super excited because on today's episode, we're going to bring a little flavor into some things. Right, Jonathan?
Yes.
So let me introduce my special guest, Jonathan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan McKissack, and I am coming from Prairie View A&amp University, home of the Panthers, right outside of Houston, Texas. Prairie View, Texas is a quaint area with a robust enrollment, and we opened up back in 1876, so I'm ready to dive in here at Del Valley High School. Let's have fun.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Jonathan, for being my guest today. We're going to go over a few questions that I have prepared for you guys and from a couple of students. So my first question is going to be, what's it like to go to PVAMU?
Oh, that's an excellent question, Ms. Perez. So Prairie View A&amp University is an HBCU, so a historically black college university, and it's over 1,400 acres. And so when you get to the campus, it's very open, a lot of great oak trees, a lot of great academic buildings. So it's very, very diverse, has a lot of culture, a lot of different programs to choose from, and students just really enjoy themselves going to Prairie View A&amp University.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the admissions process for Prairie View. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and tell us any maybe tips and tricks that you have on if they have to complete an essay, or what do you look for in a specific candidate in a student that wants to go to PVAMU?
Let's go to PV. Absolutely. So we do have a really simplified admissions process for our students. Once again, it's HBCU, so we're trying to make it really easy and convenient for our students to be able to go through the application process to apply and attend Prairie View. So we are actually test optional for the fall of 2024-2025 school year. The minimum GPA to get admitted to Prairie View is a 2.8 on a 4.0 scale unweighted, or be in the top 50% of the graduating class, or have a 21 ACT, or a 1060 on the SAT. And so with that being test optional, students only have to meet one of those four criteria. So for example, let's say you have a student that has a 2.5 high school GPA on a 4.0 scale, but they're in the top 50% of their class. Well, they would be automatically admitted, meeting that top 50%, top 50% of their class rank. And then if they don't meet any of those opportunities, then we look at a holistic review approach for the application process. No essays required. Everything is through applytexas.org. We do accept fee waivers, so the ACT, the SAT, or the NACAC fee waiver will suffice, or they can pay the application fee, which is $40.
Awesome. Okay. So you mentioned something at the very beginning of this conversation of HBCU. Can you go more in detail of what an HBCU is?
Yes, absolutely. So an HBCU, that's an acronym for Historically Black College Universities. So for example, for Prairie View, we opened up back in 1876, making us the second oldest public institution of higher education in Texas. And so at that particular time frame in history, minorities weren't able to go to your other universities, such as your University of Texas at Austin or your Texas A&Ms. But Texas A&M opened up in the morning and Prairie View opened up in the afternoon as a land-grant institution that did allow anyone to attend Prairie View. So we started with 8. We called them the unknown 8, and 7 of the 8 were African American, and 1 of those students were Hispanic as well too. So and we really take that into consideration. Also, being HBCU, there's different athletic conferences. So we're part of the SWAC, so the Southwestern Athletic Conference as well. That's really dignified to HBCUs, and then we also get special funding and scholarship opportunities as a HBCU.
Oh, awesome. And you're also a Research 1 institution, right? Am I correct?
We're a Research 2 institution right now.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, still there. That is one of our president's visions in our next strategic 10-year plan is that we will get to R1 status. But R2 is very, very significant as we're the only HBCU in Texas with an R2 classification.
Awesome. So what does student organizations look like, and are there any for first-generation college students?
Yes, there's a bunch of student organizations to choose from. We have over 130 to choose from on our campus, and they have different categories. So, for example, we have our religious organizations. So we want our students to continue their faith walk on campus, and it's entwined with our Johnson Phillips All-Faith Chapel, where they hold services on Wednesdays and Sundays. Then we have our special interests. So those are students that are interested in like the Checkers Club or they want to do a fashion club, or they want to do just general community service as well. We have our academic organizations and honor societies as well. And then we do have a first gen organization through our multicultural affairs department as well. But it's going to be very general, it's open for everyone. And then also on the organizational side, we have our social action organization. So NAACP, for example, as well, or the Thurgood Marshall Foundation is on our campus as well, too, for organizations for students to join.
Excellent. Okay, my next question is the Divine Nine. That's a huge thing at HBCUs, correct?
It is.
Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually another category on the student organizations that I didn't get to mention. So the Divine Nine is going to be comprised of 9 Pacific organizations that are all going to be Black letter organizations. And so, for example, I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. We were founded in 1914. So there's going to be 5 fraternities and 4 sororities that are part of the Divine Nine, and it's also part of the National Panhellenic Council. And so their main mission is to go out and do different culture for service, so give back to the community, offer different literacy programs. Also, they host different college fairs. They also host like HBCU tours to get other students in their geographical area to go visit those campuses as well. So really big on education service as well too.
Excellent. You also, do you have something called Hump Wednesday?
We do. That's actually a really fun time on campus. So every Wednesday we have Hump Day on campus, and so what that is every Wednesday for about an hour, there'll be a DJ that comes out and plays music. Just so you guys know, classes are canceled. So if you got class between 12 and 1, once you go to class, but they play music, and then most of your organizations will come out and either stroll or step during that time frame. It's really big during Spring Fest as well too, because that's when all the new organizations, or we call those the neophyte members, at the new members presentation show. That's when they come out and actually showcase their talents. Every Wednesday, Hump Day is right in front of the MSC.
Okay, cool. You said something about stepping and strolling. What is that exactly?
Yes, great question. So stepping is going to be a routine choreography that is mainly going to be using your hands and feet to really stomp or to either tell a story. So sometimes when you see some people stepping, they might be telling a story of the organization, or they could be telling a general story and they'll relive it through step. Stroll is going to be a different. It's kind of more of like you might see people doing a shuffle. So like the Cupid shuffle, but strolling is going to be more. It's going to be more intense. It's in a line formation. Typically, you have your ace, which is your number 1 member, will lead that stroll, and then it's really big coach. So if you ever watch the movie Drumline, you'll see that they're strolling and stepping, and you see no one likes to cut in front of those lines. So just a big tradition that a lot of Divine Nine members take part in, as well as other organizations as well too.
Awesome. That sounds fun. Okay, so what kind of activities do y'all have on campus?
Yes. So we love to have a great time. Academic comes first, but in part of that academic environment, you got to have some fun too. So, for example, we have our Panther Plaza, which is where we have our bowling center on campus. It's 10 lanes. And also what's unique about Prairie View, we do have our own women's Division I bowling team, and so that's where they practice at in the bowling center. There's also Pizza Hut in there, so I always consider that a fun activity. Go eat pizza and get those cinnamon sticks on campus. Also, we have the recreation center, so you can always go in there and go swimming. We have rock climbing as well. We have an outdoor adventures department within our rec center. I also like to include athletics and activities, so we have the football stadium, we have the baby dome for basketball games. You have the library, as well as also another great activity because they host different study jam sessions. During finals, we have midnight breakfast in the cafeteria, so that's always a really fun activity as well. And so there's a lot of great things to do on campus. In addition to that, we have our solar observatory. So we just recently in Texas, we're part of the eclipse. So at Prairie View was 96% coverage for the eclipse. So we use the solar observatory so everybody can go out and see it. And the last activity I always like to say is our farm. So we have our own working farm. It's 800 acres. We have our own meat lab, so you can go there and purchase jerky, or you can go in there and get any steaks or some ribeyes. And then we also have a dairy farm as well too, where you can go and get eggs and yogurt and things of that sort.
Okay. Oh, one thing. So whenever I take my students on college tours at PV, um, there is a tradition of not walking on the grass. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So Prairie View was built on the Alta Vista slave plantation. And so out of respect for our past and our ancestors, we don't walk on the grass because there's unmarked grave sites along our campus. A lot of students are really shocked when we tell them we do have our own slave cemetery on campus. And just due to elevation right now, you can still see 3 tombstones, but it's right adjacent to our farm. And so we do remind all of our visitors to not walk on the grass out of respect for our past and our ancestors.
Okay. Next thing I have for you is what should students who are planning on going to PVAMU do right now? So we're actually in May right now, guys. So I just wanted to, if you are listening to this in any other months, just know we're talking about like the March through May area. So what should our students be doing right now?
Yes, absolutely. So for juniors, the time to go visit campuses is this upcoming summer, because a lot of applications start opening up that July August time frame. For example, for Prairie View, our application will open up in the month of August, and so we want students, and we do have tours available in the summertime for students to come visit. This is also a great time to review those PSAT test exams, or if you even took the SAT or ACT. So you can look at that competency area and see what you really want to focus on. Because maybe your reading and writing is really strong on the SAT, but maybe you might need a little bit more help on the math. So utilize the summer to work on those math concepts. So when you retake it early fall, so August, September time frame, you feel more confident as you're going in, as you're taking the SAT or ACT. So you want to take advantage of that too in the summer. So PSAT or SAT review, as well as going to visit colleges, universities, and knowing what their deadline dates are. So some students will have deadlines for their admissions. So for example, for Prairie View, our priority deadline date is December 1st. So we want students to apply and get admitted by that date because then they'll first be considered for scholarships as well as for financial aid. Some other institutions might be even earlier if it depends on the size of the institution. They could be deadline could be October 1st. So you definitely want to get a nice binder and put it together to your and select, 5 to 10 schools that you're really focused on based off of cost, based off location, size, and really, really hound in on which ones you really want to apply to and visit. And then towards August, September, you can narrow that 10 to 5. And then by the time January comes, you can narrow that down to your top 3.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's talk about incoming freshmen. So you're gonna have another group of incoming freshmen coming in the next 3 months.
Yes.
So what should our incoming freshmen be doing? Like, should they do they need to pay a deposit fee? Do they need to sign up for orientation? What does orientation look like? Can you go over a little bit of the logistics over that part?
Yes, absolutely. So, first, congratulations on being admitted. If you're listening, so the main thing is getting the next steps completed. The two things that are needed for students to register for orientation is they need to select their tuition rate, which helps us determine how to build the tuition out, and then they also need to make sure their TSI is complete. And the TSI is the Texas Success Initiative exam, and so that determines your college readiness in either math or any subject dealing with reading or writing. So those two have to be completed to be able to register for orientation. The next thing you want to do is definitely want to apply for housing. Housing was opened up since last month. And that's a first come first served basis. So housing is very important. The housing application fee is $150. It is non-refundable. You want to pay that, and then the next installment, which is $650, the housing department will notify the student and family if they have to pay that or not, based off their financial aid. The other thing that needs to be submitted is the meningitis vaccination, because you need that for housing. That's a federal mandate. So any institution, this is just great knowledge. You want to get that bacterial meningitis shot submitted, and they're good for the past 5 years. You register for orientation, get your class schedule, and then for Prairie View, we have an event called Panther Camp. So this year, school starts August 26th. So Panther Camp will start that week before classes start. So that means move-in is the weekend before for incoming freshmen.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So the orientation, what does that look like when the students and parents are there?
Yes, absolutely. So orientation is a full day event. So it's going to be anywhere between usually from 7 to 4 or 7 to 5. Check-in starts at 7. The program starts at 8, but we like students and families to get there early. It is a full day of activity. Actually, our first one is coming up May 16th. And we have a couple more in June and a couple more in July. But when you come and check in, we'll have a general welcome session. And then from that point, the students and parents are actually split. So the parents have their own orientation because we want our parents to know all about our services on campus, such as University Police Department or Title IX. We also want to dive into advising and how that process works. We want to talk about Treasury Services with our parents. And then for the students, they go through 3 rotations, so they go and get advised and register for classes. They'll also get to see the housing area, and take care of any last housing issues that they need to take care of. Campus tour opportunity as well, and then we have a resources fair in the afternoon for parents and students. So those tables are set up so you can go and ask questions, like additional questions after all the presentations in the morning. So it's really just more of a great follow-up. And then to conclude orientation, we have a Spirit Fest. So we get to teach you all the chants. You get to see Prairie View has a really big tradition of the PV Shuffle, where every class has its own shuffle, which is like a really long choreography dance. And you learn that during Panther Camp. So they'll showcase the previous last 3 year shuffles at orientation. So orientation, a lot of fun. We do advise to come up the day before, just so that you're fully rested and ready to go during orientation day, because it will be fun. A lot of walking, but really great interaction. You're going to meet a lot of faculty and staff and current students. And then once you leave orientation, the main thing we want to make sure that's solidified is housing, your schedule, and then financial aid.
Okay. So what is homecoming like?
Oh man, homecoming is awesome. That's going to be a fall event. We have one of the largest homecomings in the state, depending on the number of people that actually attend. And homecoming it's a long week full of activities. We always kick it off with our gospel fest on that Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we have the Super Hump Day on Wednesday. We have concerts on Thursday. But what makes Prairie View's homecoming experience very unique is going to be the tailgating. So our tailgating starts on Wednesday evening, and then people stay all the way until Sunday morning. And then the game is always that Saturday. Homecoming this year is going to be October 23rd. So mark that in your calendars. October 23rd will be here before you know it. We're really excited about homecoming, and there's always a unique homecoming website to give out information in regards to tailgating, as well as the week lineup as well too. And so it's a really great opportunity to meet a lot of alumni. We have over 85,000 alumni in our database, so they all come back down. They always bring their family and friends, so it's really great reconnection time.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about what is Prairie View, like when we talk about degree plans, what is Prairie View known for? Like, what kind of specific degree plans? Is there anything that y'all are just like, wow, we're the best at?
Absolutely. So our top 3 to 4 majors are going to be our College of Engineering, which is called the Roy G. Perry College of Engineering. We have our School of Architecture as well. The College of Agriculture, Human Resources as well is very large at Prairie View. And then the College of Nursing is what we're mostly known for. But we also have the Criminal Justice, Juvenile Justice Program, the College of Business, College Education. We also have the School of Public and Allied Health as well. And then we also have undergraduate studies. So those are for students that are typically undecided at that particular time. They can major in that. But what makes our top 4 really phenomenal, really known is our School of Architecture. We're the #1 producer for minority architects at the undergraduate and graduate level in the whole nation. So it's a very diverse school. And I always like to put emphasis on school compared to college. College is going to be research intensive, as opposed to a school is going to be more hands-on learning opportunities. So that architecture program, we have our own fabrication center. It's the largest in the state per square footage and the cost of equipment that's inside that building. For engineering, we just recently found out back in February that they were the #1 producer for mechanical engineers in the state of Texas, out of public and private institutions. So engineering is very vibrant. There's 6 academic buildings for engineering. We just built our last NCAR building for a $70 million complex. So it has all the robotics inside. aerodynamics as well too. Drone technology is all included in our engineering department. College of Nursing is very unique because it's its own campus. It's in the medical center here in Houston. And so for our nurse students, they come in as a pre-nursing student, and then they have to apply to get into our College of Nursing. But it's phenomenal, and they have nursing. We have nursing at every level. So undergraduate, there's 3 master's programs and 1 doctoral program in nursing. And then I kind of touched on agriculture earlier. It's going to be that main working farm that makes it really, really known. And we're also a really large partner with the Houston Rodeo and Livestock Show.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to change the conversation a little bit, and I want to talk about community college students who are planning on transferring to PV. What does that look like?
Yes, absolutely. So we invite all of our transfer students to apply. Minimum requirements is have a 2.0 collegiate GPA and have at least 15 transferable credit hours, and that's automatic admission to Prairie View. Now, in terms of funding and scholarship opportunities, we do encourage our transfer students to stay and get the associate's degree. So if you are planning to go to ACC, for example, here locally, or you decide to go to another community college or 4-year, it's going to be, whether you go to a 2-year or 4-year, it's still that minimum 2.0 and 15 transferable credit hours, but we give out more funding for associates. If you're listening right now, the application is still open for the fall semester as a transfer student, so we definitely encourage you still to apply, and there's still scholarships available for our transfer students too.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I do have 3 questions that I wanted to ask you from students.
Yes.
The first question is, are there Latinos at your university?
Yes, that's an excellent question. We do. We do have Latinos on our campus. Right now, it's about 6%. And so we do have Latino organizations as well, too. But once they get to campus, they engross in the culture. And we actually have Latino staff, faculty as well on our campus as well, too, in addition to our students.
And then I had a student also ask, let me see. When do they know if they get into the summer bridge program?
Oh, excellent question. So let me elaborate and kind of explain what Summer Bridge is for our listeners. So Summer Bridge is for graduating seniors. It gives an opportunity to come in the summertime, and it's fully funded. So they get to take 2 classes and also live on campus and meal plan in our Summer Bridge. Most of the programs are 5 weeks, which they start in July. We have 2 programs specifically that start in June. It's a 10-week. That's going to be the architecture as well as biology, PCI program. And what Summer Bridge is, they open up in March, typically for the application, and they start notifying students mid-May, so around this time frame, beginning of June, to get them prepared to get ready for July. For biology and architecture, those students know if they've been accepted to Summer Bridge already at this time. And it's open invite, so most of the programs are college-specific, but we do have 3 that are general Summer Bridge opportunities, so that can be any major, like Panther Pride. We also have a Summer Bridge program for students that either struggle with the TSI. They can come down and do that program as well. So there's a lot of great opportunities in Summer Bridge. And we also have summer camps for anyone that's 11th grade or younger. Those are always open and available. Those do have a cost associated with it, so it just depends on the program.
Okay. I think the last question is going to be, and you kind of already went over this, but what is the culture like, and are there any traditions on campus?
The culture is phenomenal on campus. From our academics and having our faculty have open hours to talk and discuss their coursework, that's what a lot of students rave about Prairie View. In addition to traditions, we have our hump day that we have every Wednesday. We also have homecoming is always a really big tradition as well too. We have this famous call as well too, and so it goes PV. You know. So you can hear that across the state or out of state. You know that's going to be a PV alumni or someone that's affiliated with Prairie View as well. So that's a big tradition on campus. Of course, our mascots are huge. Pete and Sasha, they're always at different events, always greeting our students at athletic events or even just general events as well too. Another big tradition is, which is really big for HBCUs, is the band culture. So I always like to elaborate on our band. It's our marching storm. It's 400 plus strong. They travel. They recently was in Portland. They did the Trailblazers halftime show. They've been in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York. So it's a really big tradition. You get to see them on campus as well too. And then from the Divine Nine, the student organizations, is also a really big tradition on campus. So when you come down to Prairie View, it's going to feel like home. It's a family environment.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for coming on today's episode. But I got a question for you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
PV.
You know.
All right, college and career conquerors. I hope you learned a lot of things from PVAMU. And if you have any questions, feel free. Jonathan, what's your contact?
Yes, absolutely. So you can reach me at 936-261-1083, or you can shoot me an email at jomkissack@pvamu.edu. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. We're here to answer any questions you may have, and we can't wait to see you on the Hill in the future.
Awesome. All right, college and career conquerors. I hope you have a great day. And remember, let's conquer life together.